You, Mr. Secretary, have a very impressive resume. You've been a teacher in Connecticut. You've been an administrator. You were a principal. Would you agree that one of the hardest parts of being an educator is the planning, the logistics of how many kids you have, how many little resources you have to make that out? Is planning a really tough part of being an educator?
Planning is an important part of being an educator.
Very good. So you would agree then when I hear from school districts of how hard it's been, the massive influx of illegal immigrants into our school system, you would agree that that's real. That's real, that they're having a hard time managing all these influx of students that they didn't know were coming.
Planning for new students as a school principal was something that, we had to take into account.
So it's a curveball. Do we know how many illegal immigrants are in our school systems right now?
I can have my staff reach out to you about that information. I don't have it off the top of my head.
So, but do you have any idea? Is it in the millions? Is it in the 100,000s? Do you have a general idea? And here's the thing. I should know the answer. I don't know. I've gone online to try to find the answer. I don't know the answer. But I would assume the Department of Education, you would know, but you don't know how many are here.
I'd be happy to have my team follow up with you on specifics.
No, I'm sincere when I say I'd like to know.
Good.
Does there come a number, though? Is there a number in the future that you would say, we just can't take any more? Is there a number that you would agree that we just can't take any more? It's causing our numbers, right, teaching our kids to suffer when we just can't logistically plan for the future. Is there a number that you would say enough is enough?
So it is
there's not a number?
The responsibility of educators as a school principal, I can tell you.
Oh, you take everybody. I'm with you. And I understand that's the law. Anybody that comes, you take them. But is there a time you're going to say enough? We got to call time out. You would tell Joe Biden time out. We're stressed.
As educators, it's really important that we meet the needs of our
students. So there's no number, and I was hoping you'd tell me there's a number so I can say help is on the way or we'll hit that max, but there is no end in sight. We're all on our own. Are you aware how many schools have been either shut down or partially taken over to house illegal immigrants?
I'm aware of cases of schools that
how many?
Have made.
Do you know how many?
Off the top of my head, I don't.
It's a bunch, and one would be too many for those students that have to do that. So that's something to be aware of. That's when I hear educators. We have a lot of struggles with numbers right now. I chair the subcommittee on K through 12, and our numbers since COVID have plummeted. And so we've got work to do, Mr. Secretary, and this is something that hopefully they won't have to do it. I want to congratulate you because you have done something few have done. You have united Republicans and Democrats, House members and senators on coming together to say that the Department of Education doesn't have the authority to give money that's not theirs away in the terms of student loans. Are you aware that even the Supreme Court has come out and said this is outside of your authority? Are you aware of that? The Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, has said, Department of Education, this is not your purview. It's not your money. This belongs in Congress. Are you aware of that, Mr. Secretary?
The decision of the Supreme Court was in reference to the HEROES Act. I'm acting under the Higher Education.
So you're interpreting it different. You're saying that you trump Congress and you trump the courts. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Secretary?
That is not what I'm saying.
Well, that's what it appears, and that's why people are struggling with it. People would think it's arbitrary, but yet you've picked winners and losers of who you allow to forgive the money that's not ours. It's the taxpayers. It's not forgiven. It comes back to us. First of all, are you aware that a lot of times, and I've been in hearings, and I was a banker and made loans, a lot of student loans don't actually go to fund education. They're where the students have rolled in credit card debt or taken trips or bought cars. Are you aware that it's not all actually going to education? Are you aware of that?
The work that we're doing with public service loan forgiveness and borrower defense.
You may not be aware, so I'll tell you. I've been to hearings and the way they do it, they combine debt. But you have picked winners and losers because for those students that have chosen a religious-based school or a private school, you've not forgiven their loans. Is this your way of declaring war on those that pick a religious school or a private school?
Absolutely not. We're working for the working class folks who need a break. Instead of tax breaks to millionaires, we're trying to focus on helping those who are trying to get their education and not be in a lifetime of debt, sir.
I want to make you aware of so many things out there. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I yield back.